Hey, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while, but I've had some injuries that I've had to deal with. I had some back problems and some knee issues and also some shoulder issues. This is what happens when you become middle-aged. You have all these injuries that you had when you were in high school and through the years, and so everything that's sort of really necessary when you're hydrofoiling, you need to be in optimal condition. Of course, the back. My back was killing me at one point, and it was just became an untenable situation. So I saw a chiropractor, I had acupuncture done, I did physio, and not 100% yet, but I really wanted to get on the water. I really wanted to make a video. So here I am. Behind me is my forward geometry board, 34 liters, 4 foot 5 inches long. And I stuck the longer mast, the 795 performance mast, on because we're back at Cat Lake. We're gonna try to get reacquainted with foiling, and what I'm gonna try to do is once I get reacquainted with pumping, I'm gonna incorporate paddling with this setup. So I'll launch off, start paddling, and get used to paddling, and then bring it to my SUP board. I'm not going to do the paddling today. I think we're going to do little baby steps because I really got to work on making sure my body's fully optimized to really paddle hard and pump my legs hard, because I was looking at some previous footage and I think I need another gear, and I wasn't able to do that because of some pain in my back and my shoulder. And so working slowly and doing some rehabbing and getting to the point where when I do get on to the water with my paddle board and my setup, I'm going to really be able to paddle at 100% and go full throttle. But today we're going to just reacquaint ourselves with hydrofoiling. I don't even know. I haven't done it in a while, and it's not quite like riding a bike. It takes a little bit more, I guess, reacquainting the brain with the balance and everything like that. But let's see how long it takes me to start pumping away. So the front foil is still the same. It's the 1880 60 centimeter fuselage, and I think I have a 220 glide on the back. The mast is all the way in the back, and we'll see how it goes. I brought a shim because somebody mentioned maybe I should try it with a shim to get more glide. I don't know, but today I brought along the shim. It's not on right now, but if I'm getting a little bit too much lift, I might throw the shim on the back. All right, let's do this. Also, something that's key, before I even started recording, I spent about 15 minutes stretching and warming up. This is something that I think a lot of people will probably grudgingly agree that we don't do enough stretching and enough warming up before we do these exercises. So I'm going to try to do that more in my day-to-day life, is stretching and getting all these muscles around my core, around my hips and hamstrings loosened up before doing such a dynamic exercise. Definitely going to put on the helmet. The other thing is, I love this dock because I can really, the board is a little bit wider. It's 20 inches rather than my WKT board, which is only 18. So it helps that I can put my foil under the dock. It's a key component. All right. Let's do it. Ah, oh my gosh. That was amazing. It felt so good. Water's freezing. I got my 5mm wetsuit because the temperature overnight here is close to 0. Daytime temperatures about 7 degrees Celsius, which is what? I would say it's about 48 degrees Fahrenheit. So chilly air temperature wise. Water's pretty cold. So I was on the board and I was pumping away and I couldn't turn. Oh, I wanted to turn and I was fiddling around with my feet, and I was just, I guess it's been so long that my balance is a little off. So we'll get there. Maybe it is like riding a bike. Of course I had to second try. I got overconfident. I do think I need that shim, believe it or not. Even with the mast all the way at the back, this 1880 APF has so much lift that because I'm about 170 pounds, I may need to kind of negate some of that lift. All right, so I launched, I landed, I was a little bit toe side and I figured it out, but I think I might have to put on that shim. I think I am getting a little bit too much left. I can feel my nose is a little bit high. But still, it's a little bit too early for me to tell if it's just, it's been so long that my technique is really off and I have to figure it out. So I'll do a couple more rounds and see if I can figure it out. Definitely moving my feet around while I'm pumping, shifting my weight, trying to dial it in as I go. Good news is my back feels good. It's not 100%. I could still feel it. Like there's something still going on in the lower back, but it's not painful. Like before, just like bending over, I had struggles just sleeping, just because I had some throbbing pain in the back. So acute pain is gone, but we're into that stage where it's just like a dull kind of feeling, and I think it's just about strengthening core muscles, loosening up some other muscles, and finding that right balance. All right, better. Still really struggling on getting the balance, but I was able to do a little bit of a turn. But I'm gonna throw that shim on. It's the blue shim. It's 1/2 degree because stock, the tails have on the Armstrongs have a little bit of a lift. They have a 1 degree to give you a little bit more lift, and I think when I really pump the leg, I'm really porpoising and getting too much. So I'm gonna throw that 1/2 degree shim on. There it is. So here's the thing, when I was trying to paddle up, maybe that was one of the issues. Well, time will tell. Maybe I need to have a shim on my tail. I don't know. We'll see. Once we get this dialed in and feel it, we may put shims on the tail on my paddle setup. Yeah, needed that blue shim. I would even say, I wish I brought a red shim, because I might even need 1 degree less lift. My mass is all the way at the back, and darn it, wish I brought my 1 degree shim. It's all right, but definitely that ½ degree is making a difference for the better. Listen to me huffing and puffing. And I could feel the burn in my legs. Just 'cause super important to get your footing in place. If you don't have your footing, it's really hard to get set. The weather's changing. So, my whole life, I'm right-handed, so I do everything with my right. And what my chiro and physio and we figured out that I was always compressing this way in my vertebrae. So I almost had like a minor form of scoliosis where my spine was bent because everything I did, whether I was throwing, whether I was swinging, anything, I was compressing this way. And right in my lower spine, I was like all the muscles were contracted. What we're trying to do is we're trying to stretch it out and strengthen all these muscles around that area. I could feel it when I'm on the board that there's something happening in my lower back. Like the muscles are working and my body feels different because of all the exercises and work that I've been doing over the last couple months. And I could feel that as I'm pumping, my body and spine is really trying to figure out that sweet spot. Moral of the story is get fit, make sure you're working with somebody, making sure your body's in balance, in tune, so you're not compounding mistakes and compounding injuries, because then you get to a point like me where you can't even go to sleep. You have to like take Advil before you go to bed. I really wish I had that 1-degree shim. I think it would make a difference. I really do, because I could feel if I give it a couple extra pumps and I want to generate speed, because of my weight to the lift of the front foil, I just get so much lift and my nose just really wants to go up. Yeah, there I got my launch. Looks like the wind has died down, which is great because the wind was actually causing a little bit of reaction to the water in my foil. So just trying to catch my breath. One of the things that I love about this sport is the interval kind of nature of it all. Interval training is great for autophagy, and it's really good for your building up your cells, making them resistant by doing interval training rather than a sustained kind of jog or cycle, just by getting your heart rate up, bringing it down, heart rate up, bringing it down, optimizes autophagy when exercising. that felt a lot better. Interesting, because prior to this, I did use a blue shim when I was using my which one was it, the 1550 HA. I was using a shim on my tail, but when I started to do the paddle ups, I took that shim off because I just figured I'd want that extra lift. But I'm beginning to realize now, instead of a half a degree shim, I might even need a 1 degree shim for just pumping around, whereas I didn't feel like I needed that before. So I don't know if it's technique, I don't know if it's my body's changing, what's going on, but kind of wish I brought that 1 degree shim. All right, 45 minutes in. Now I'm really feeling like, okay, I got it back. One of the other things is, amongst all these changes, this is a lake, it's fresh water. A lot of time I'm in salt water. There's a lot more going on in the salt water under the surface, and it's a little bit more buoyancy, which is another reason why I should be using a shim. Yeah, that's the Asian squat, man. Not enough of us, when you get to a certain age, our body just won't let us do it. But it's really good for our bodies to do that deep squat. If you go to places in Asia, the reason why I call it the Asian squat is if you go to places in Asia, people will be sitting at a bus stop, outside having a cigarette, doing whatever, and they're just sitting in a squat. And it's really good for your back. It's really good for your ankles. Really good for your knees and hips. So that's one of the other things that I'm trying to incorporate it into my day, is just to be able to sit in that deep squat for a couple minutes a day. Be careful not to injure yourself. You got to work your way down, but I'm also doing it now just to make sure my lower back doesn't tighten up in between sets. You know what's interesting? Every time I run along the dock and I'm about to launch, I have this hesitation right as I'm jumping off the board or the dock onto the board, because automatically my left hand on the far side repositions itself onto the board. Like I move my hand from here like this, and I take my left hand off the board and I position it here, and it kind of catches me off guard, because if you get tons of reps in, you don't even think about it. It becomes second nature. But because I haven't done it in a while, my body is doing it automatically, and just as I'm jumping, I realize, hey, my hand's moving right before I jump onto the board. It's a little bit getting used to. So I'll show you what I typically do is I'll have my right hand up here, my left hand here, and then right before I launch, I move this hand like this, kind of where my feet are supposed to go. And I've always done it this way, but for some reason my brain thinks otherwise and kind of rings an alarm in my head just as I'm jumping onto the board. So I have to try to shut off that alarm the next time I do this. Or not even think about it, do you know what I mean? Because if you think too much, you just have to trust your body and the repetitions to just figure it out. Trying to figure out next time I come out, I'm going to bring a 1 degree shim, and I think it's going to make a difference. But I'm also going to bring my paddle, but in my head, because ultimately what I want to do is I want to jump with my paddle in hand, and once I start pumping, I'm going to just try doing a couple paddles to get a feel for what it's like to fly and paddle. The thing is, I'm already thinking, how am I going to hold this paddle in my hand and run along the dock and jump? There's a lot going on. Or do I just, like, I don't know, have the paddle hanging from a branch or something, and I loop around and I grab it and then I start I don't know. Or maybe I have somebody here standing here on the dock, and as I come back around they pass me the paddle. What do you think? Leave your comments. What's the best strategy? I don't know if my hands are big enough to have the paddle in my hand while holding the board. While I catch my breath, here's another question. what if I do put on that shim? Am I going to be able to generate enough speed once I put everything together on my paddle board? Am I going to be able to generate enough speed paddling to create enough lift with a shim on the tail? I don't know. These are all, I guess we'll have to figure all that out. Okay, we're getting there. Doesn't feel perfect, something's slightly off, but I know in my head I can pump. So thanks for tuning in, being patient with me. We're gonna get this. It is still March, but I want to be paddling up and flying with my paddleboard late spring, early summer this year. So vamos, man, let's go. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell for all my upcoming videos. I know I keep saying this, but now that my back is feeling better, unless I have a setback, I'm gonna try to get out once every 7 to 14 days. So every week to 2 weeks, I want to try to get out in the water. And now that this lake is no longer frozen, it's been frozen for the winter just recently thawed out. So we're going to try to come up here more frequently rather than on the open ocean. There's just a little bit, well, there's a lot going on with the ocean in terms of currents that I have to deal with. So this might be the optimal location. All right, we'll see you on the next one.